Hey y'all, I'm Avery Ashlyn, and on this episode, we will be reviewing and I will be expressing my thoughts and reading a snippet of the book Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. Let's get started. We will first be looking at the background information on Speak. It was inspired by the experience of the author's own story and heartache, being raped at 13. The book was published in 1999 and became a National Book Award finalist. The plot really helps the story come to life. Imagine reading the back of the book for the first time and reading a high school girl who became silent, withdrawn after she is sexually assaulted at a party. When she calls the police, no one knows why, and her classmates turn against her. Melinda doesn't tell anyone what was really going on, and she loses all her friends. She then struggles with depression and hides from anyone who was trying to help her in her situation. In times past, she slowly finds the strength to face what happened. The characters: Melinda, Heather, Andy Evans, Rachel, and Mr. Freeman. Throughout the book, each of these characters show major growth, but the most obvious one is Melinda. Melinda. At the beginning, Melinda starts the book traumatized and nearly mute. She was misunderstood by everyone and hides from the whole world. In the middle of the book, she begins to reflect her person, trying to understand her pain and her worth. Then at the end, Melinda finds the strength to speak out about her assault and stands up for herself. She begins to heal, her growth showing a transformation from silent victim into a young woman empowered by her voice and truth. Heather shows a little growth, but she changes her character from mostly helpful to a contrast in Melinda's life. Andy Evans does not grow. Instead, he still represents the danger of silence and the importance of exposing the truth. Let's talk about the author's purpose behind Speak. Though I think there are many purposes and key takeaways, I still believe it gives a voice to survivors of sexual assault. How, you may be wondering? Laurie Hall Anderson wants to highlight the emotional and physical struggles that victims of sexual violence go through, especially when they feel unable to speak out. Themes is what makes a book like Speak and gives it its attributes. And like most books, it has many themes to choose from. The one that speaks an overall subject on the book is trauma and recovery. Now, you may be thinking, trauma and recovery, how? Well, the story shows how deeply trauma can affect someone, especially when it is ignored or misunderstood. Melinda's journey is demonstrated how healing is a slow, personal process that requires strength and support. Like every book, we have the 5 elements of a plot. In Speak, our exposition is how Melinda starts high school, but right away she has isolated herself from everyone because they were all mad at her. The rising action. Melinda becomes totally silent, skips school, and struggles from depression and guilt. Climax. Andy Evans tries to tackle Melinda again in the closet where she got away from everyone in school just to be by herself in a small space. She fights back and finally screams for help. Way to girl. And students were able to stop him. Resolution. Melinda opens up to her art teacher and says, "Let me tell you about it." She then starts to heal, finally. For me, teens all ages of 13 and up should read Speak. It may help show y'all what to do if y'all are stuck in a situation that you may not know how to get out of. And it will allow those of you who have been raped that telling someone about the situation at hand and to get help. Luckily for Melinda, she had Mr. Freeman, who did not give up on her and became a friend in the end. Now for a snippet of the book Speak. I choose this chapter because prom is right around the corner. Post-prom. By Monday morning, the prom is a legend. The drama, the tears, the passion. Why hasn't anyone made a television show of this yet? That totally damaged included 1 stomach pumped, 3 breakups of long-term relationships, 1 lost diamond earring, 4 outrageous hotel room parties, and 5 matching tattoos, legendary, decorating the behind of the senior class officers. The guidance counselors are celebrating the lack of fatal accidents. Heather is not at school today. Everybody is griping about her lame decorations. I bet she calls in sick for the rest of the year. Heather should run away and join the Marines immediately. They'll be much sweeter to her than a swarm of angry Marthas. Rachel is in her glory. She detached Andy in the middle of the prom. I'm trying to piece the story together from the grapevine gossip. They say she and Andy argued during a slow song. They say she was all over her with his hands and his mouth while they were dancing. He was grinding against her and she backed off. The song ended and she swore at him. They say she was ready to slap him, but she didn't. He looked around all innocent like, and she stomped over to the exchange student buddies. Ended up dancing the night away with a kid from Portugal. They say Andy's been really pissed off ever since. He got wicked drunk at a party and passed out in a bowl of bean dip. Rachel burned everything he ever gave her and left ashes in front of his locker. His friends laughed at him, except for the gossip. There's no real point in coming to school. Well, there are final exams, but it's not like they are going to make any difference to my grades. We have, 2 more weeks of class? Sometimes I think high school is a more long, hazy activity. If you are tough enough to survive this, they'll let you become an adult. I hope it's worth it. Post-prom. This chapter really helps y'all see how much of a creep Andy Evans is. I mean, grinding on Rachel? That's just awful. But good for Rachel for standing up for who she is and not letting him pressure her. And good for Melinda. At the end, she was able to get help. Anyway, thank y'all for listening to this episode of the book Speak. I hope y'all enjoyed. Bye!